Hey everybody, well it's been a while since I've been here, Bahnstormer BMW, this is the Alton branch, and yes, if you've seen from the title, obviously, I am taking out the amazing looking R18. This is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, going back to Bahnstormer, it's kind of crazy how much has changed here since I was last here, a few years ago. I'll show you when I get back, like all the stuff they've done inside, but you want to see the bike, as do I, so let's get on with it. I literally have this for about 3 hours. It's just been shoved in my hands. I've already lost the key. No, I haven't. Question is this keyless? So yes then, okay. I'll stop somewhere along the way so we can have a closer look at this, but whoa! So the R18, 1.8 litres of boxer engine, and that's the thing I think you notice the most at first. I mean, look at the size of those heads down there. To my understanding, this is actually the largest CC engine that BMW's ever done, and this was specifically designed for a bike like this, of this type. Okay, well let's get through some basic things. If you're new to my channel you won't know this, and please subscribe, I would appreciate it. I'm 6'4" and about 15.5 stone, roughly. And this is actually really comfy for me because, well, as you can see, let's get past this mangled pheasant, my knees and my legs aren't actually near anything. Like, you're like in a chair and there's just, well, I mean, you can kick the head, but there's nothing in my way. It's an upright seating position. You know, the seat's quite firm, but I can't say much more than that at the moment. As you get near the top revs, it really starts to rumble. Oh, you've got to get used to this. Let's go down here and hope to find a nice place to have a look at it. There's cows! It was the perfect choice. And I can also see what this is like at slower speeds. Check that out. That is the biggest twitch from a boxer I've ever experienced. That is nuts. That looks like a nice place to stop. Why have I never used this place before? This does come with a reverse option if you choose that. But honestly, you're so close to the ground, it's not a problem. Okay, so let's have a close look at this thing. So first thing, let's talk about the engine, which clearly is the classic BMW sort of, I don't know about monolithic, but sort of, you know, smooth design with these massive heads coming out the side as a boxer engine. You'll also notice it has push rod valves, not overhead or anything like that, because that brings in the weight from the outside and narrows everything up. At 1800 cc's, this bike produces 90 horsepower, and the quoted figure I've seen is 158 Newton meters at 3000 RPM. This is shaft driven, but this is exposed shaft driven. I have my other camera with my 360. At some point we're going to have to get some shots of that. It is a 6-speed with a dry clutch, and this thing weighs, get ready for this, 345 kilos wet. And clearly the tank is not ginormous, so that is mostly the bike, which means all of its weight is, I mean, what, like below knee level for me. It's like a sled, more than anything. The forks, as you can see, are all enclosed. This is a covering, basically, over the forks, and it protects all the stanchions and stops stone chips and things like that from damaging the stanchions, which is actually quite a good idea. But that is, again, a bit of a retro thing. Big old brakes on it with these chromed calipers. I've not seen chrome calipers for a while, but they definitely fit in with all of, you know, the black and chrome on this looks great. There are loads of optional extras for this bike. If you look on the website, like the pinstriping, and you can get extra aero kit, and you can get this, that, and the other. But generally, this bike is about 20 grand, something around there. It is dual disc with a Y splitter up here, and I do actually believe that the front brake is actually linked, so it gives you linked brakes with the front, but the rear is only the rear. Very Art Deco 1950s style, sort of, or looks 1950s style exhausts. You know, the nice rounded shape with the slits absolutely ginormous levers. Like the width of them, it's like an inch wide. But very comfortable, very nice feeling, you know, it's all chromed. They have got adjusters in them, as you can see here. Obviously got a hydraulic clutch. It's got a very nice feel to the tank, which is, you know, right up in the air and disconnected from virtually everything. Side stand is easy to get to, ginormous. One of the ones that, yeah, don't get freaked out by this. Notice that the side stand hits the floor, then the bike keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going, and then it stops. Very disconcerting, I find that in times. But look at the size of that head. Look at that. It's like what you'd normally see upright inside an engine, but two of them sideways. It's epic. We have 3 modes on this bike: rain, roll, and rock. Rain is obviously the lowest one, roll is like in middle, and rock is like the full out. Gives you a lot of power and you can turn some bits and pieces off with that. Continuing on with the controls, we've got menu, that gives you your MPG, 47 miles per gallon, time, RPM, that's what I'd like to see. Indicators, horn, mode, as I say, that changes between your power modes. I'm actually not sure what that one is. It's got an exclamation mark and a spin. You got, you know, you got a heated grip button. I don't know if these are standard heated grips, whether that's an optional extra. You know, power button, start, stop. I don't think any of that really matters though. What people want to know about this bike is what is it like to ride around? What is it like to ride an 1800 with giant heads sticking out the side? Well, every time you start it, it does that, and I love it. Very, very easy to pull away, unsurprisingly, with all that torque. The gearbox on this is really nice. It's got a really satisfying click. You just click down and it goes clonk. So yeah, it produces an awful lot of power around 3000 RPM, and it seems like the limit is up around about 5. So you really are just cruising on this thing. 60 miles an hour, 2,200 RPM. You need to come down 2 gears, no, 3 gears. 3, 3rd, 4th around 60 mile an hour, you know. And now you've got a comfortable RPM of 2,850, but still got grunt to Jesus. It's not necessarily that quick, it's just got so much, you know, a vent to it. Oh. Stop it, I'm supposed to be cruising. The suspension on this feels pretty firm, but so far none of the bumps have been jarring. I guess the bike's just flattened them out, opposed to going over them. Oh, it's got a good amount of engine braking because of course it's got a normal dry clutch. No torque assisted stuff here. In fact, how is that clutch so light if it's not? Oh, it's because it's hydraulic, that's why. Just look at this. It's like it's got a heartbeat. Oh, mind the gravel. I definitely don't want to drop this one. Epic. Just epic. I mean, it vibrates you to bits through the seat, like, oh, right through the butt cheeks. This is one hell of a machine. What an experience. That's the thing, it's such an experience. It's unlike a lot of things. It's got so much vibrations. It's like, it literally feels like you're sat on an engine. Let's go. handling's not bad on it at all. I mean, obviously you have to accept this is a big old bike, and you know, you're not going to be pivoting this round a 90-degree bend too easily necessarily, but it rolls like through the corners real nice. Obviously that comes from its low down weight, its low down full stopness. Just lean and go. Damn, it's pretty nice, pretty nice. The seat on this one is, it's squidgy, you know, but it's also pretty firm. Is that camera died? I fear the vibrations have done it in. I have noticed that this camera does not like big vibrations, and this bike is putting out some big vibrations. Now obviously with many cruisers, people like to have leg out controls, you know, forward mounted controls, and obviously you can't do that with a boxer engine because, well, there's the engine in the way. So you have to go more for this like chair sat position. I think the vibrations have done the camera in again. Third time's the charm. Let's see how long it is before this gets so confused it turns itself off. Oh, is that rain? It's raining? No! Ah, that's alright. I'll come back the other way in a minute. It's not what you would call flickable, but it is easy. We've killed the camera again, it can't deal with it. It really can't. The DR800 Big that I rode a while ago, that did it to it, and now this is doing it. It's definitely what the problem is. So this is why doing single day reviews is so much harder, because you can't account for cameras just suddenly going, do you know what, now I'm going to stop working. So what I'm going to try and do then is I'll give you a more normal view from the back, because there's no vibrations back here, it would seem. I will say I can feel some heat coming off of this engine, surprisingly, even though it's so big and open. Maybe that was because I was stopped more. As I mentioned earlier, there is a load of extras and bits and pieces that you can get for this bike, including luggages and different variations. I can't explain all of those, I'd literally have to go through the website and show you. If you go onto their website and look at the configurable options, you can see there's all sorts of stuff. I don't know why we're only going 40, but unfortunately this means we're not actually getting away from the rain, it's catching up. The throttle response is very nice once you're in a slightly higher gear. You know, like second or third, you can actually come off the throttle and get back on it. If you're smooth, it's just got a light pickup about it, you know, there's not too much of a jerk. If you get on it jerkily, it can be a bit jerky, so just treat it smoothly, ride it gently, and it seems to, you know, smooth everything out with this giant engine. It's surprisingly quiet as well, actually. I mean, obviously they had to do that for Euro 5, and to get a 1.8 litre down to fit in Euro 5, just checking my camera's still there. Have you turned yourself off? No, the camera's still going, so I guarantee that's what it is the vibrations. But I'm afraid I don't think you can really expect a bike with 1.8 litres, you know, bashing side to side the way that it is, and not notice some vibrations from that. By the way, I realise I've been two-finger braking this whole time because the brakes are that powerful. With that much lever to hold on to, you really can get a lot of force on with just two fingers, but of course you should use the whole hand. Oh, it's been a while since I've had an explore around this way. In fact, it was just back there I stopped when I did the K1600 GT video, and that was that was the largest displacement engine I've ever ridden. This is the largest BMW I've ever ridden. I have ridden a 2.3 litre bike, obviously, so this isn't the largest displacement, but it certainly feels a bit special. I And I kind of love the fact that it vibrates so much. It's like, this is an absolute animal. It feels like an animal, but oh, I'm really concerned about being hit by a car now, because people in this area, you drive very quickly with no sight round corners. I forgot how bad it was. Oh my god! Right, okay, so this road, I brought the XR down here, didn't I? When I ended up practically off-roading the thing. Okay, so yes, the suspension is pretty firm, but it doesn't jar, if you know what I mean. It doesn't wallow and then hit you. It's just solidly firm. Buzzard. Oh, yeah. If you live on country roads, if you're going to ride this a lot on these sorts of roads, be prepared. It's firm. Oh. When you just get on the throttle a little bit and you get these sort of like a growl. It's like an angry bear. Oh god, oh god. That's as big as a speed bump. You've got to put marks on that. Covered in gravel. Bouncing around. This of course has got ABS on it, but it's just a sort of standard system, no cornering adaptation to that or anything like that. Which, you know, I think that's probably fine. Oh, I'm going to stop for a minute from being jiggled. Yeah, Spicy 110. See you later! Yeah, the camera can't deal with it. The problem is it's getting small vibrations at the lower RPMs and it's getting big vibrations at the bigger RPMs. And it just can't cope with it. And that's to say something about this bike. This bike doesn't feel like they've tried to make it super squidgy and super soft and super friendly to everyone. It's got massive vibrations and stuff in places, which inherently comes from this type of engine, but they've not tried to mitigate that with rubber stops and all that sort of thing, which is accepted. You get a big old bike like this, it's going to vibrate, okay? If you don't want it to vibrate, don't buy an R18. It just did it again. I don't know if you can see in there the picture of the bike. Actually, let's get something a bit brighter. So, okay, you should be able to see this, the sky there. I can literally confuse this camera into thinking that because of the vibrations, the whole thing's tilting. Yeah, we'll give up with that. And we're coming back on a big old loop. Let's hope we don't go back into that rain, eh? See, this thing is easy to ride. That's the sort of the most amazing thing about this I've found. Is, you know, it looks like a giant monster of a bike and you think it's going to be an absolute handful. And I mean, yeah, you've got to make sure you stably hold it. You've got to make sure that you're confident with it. But otherwise, it's actually very easy to ride because all of that weight and all that heft is completely hidden by the fact that it's so low down and you've got so much power. I also don't want you to get the impression that this thing is vibrating like crazy constantly. When you get it in the right gear, you know, it's in its happy place, there isn't too many vibrations. You do feel a slight, well, a continuous rumble, as it were, through the bars, but it's just a sense of the engine is running. It's only when you're at the, you know, you're letting off and you get down low that you feel some little buzzes, and when you get right up into the revs, it starts really chucking around. But I mean, how much of that is the bars and how much of that is the engine and the whole bike wiggling backwards and forwards? A little bit of slow control can be done, but you need a massively long arm.
See, size matters. I'll bet the balls, ain't it? Like you say, it's got street presence. What sort of money is it? The heads are
basically 20 grand.
If you look, if you notice, the heads
I'll have two then. I'll have two. It's only 20 grand, Ken. You can afford one of them, mate. That's what I said.
That's what everyone said.
It's a beast, isn't it?
It's just mental. Yeah, that's... See you later. So I pulled up to change batteries and ended up having a very long conversation with those 4 or 5 chaps who just, you know, they came straight over to this bike, and I think that says everything about this bike. To ride, it's eventful. I wouldn't say this is a bike I'd necessarily want to ride every single day, you know, commuting to work or doing anything like that. And, you know, touring, it could be a little bit tight on the shoulders and stuff. It's the presence. It's the eventfulness of the ride. If you're, you know, going to ride a bike for a few hours for absolute pleasure, this is absolutely awesome for it. And if you do ride it gently, and if you know, use the point of having this size of an engine, so you'll ride down in the revs, it's beautifully smooth and just nice. Like at this point now, this bike is smooth. Okay, I can feel like a bump, 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 bump through my hands, which is like a heartbeat of the bike. But it's smooth and it's comfortable. But if you do open it up a bit, you can start to get a rumble. The bars, as I say, are very wide, and as I noticed doing some slow control there, my arm is at full extent, and obviously at 6'4", I've got long old arms. So if you're a shorter rider, well, I mean, it's awesome it's got these wide bars because it gives you the ability to turn the steering very easily. But if you're trying to do, you know, tight manoeuvring, it means you're going to have to lean a lot or have extra long arms. Oh, where's the fuel gauge? That's the point. Has it got a fuel gauge? I can't actually find a fuel gauge on this thing in the menu, so I'm assuming it doesn't have one. That's something I didn't check. I'm sure it's got a fuel light that will come on to warn me. But yeah, thankfully I'm heading back now. I feel like I've got to know this thing. Got a clear bit of road, look at the brakes. Yeah, very confidence filling. It doesn't feel like it's about to lock up or something. God. It's that noise, it's the growl. It just sounds like a bit out of The Revenant. You come around a corner, you see a bear. Run. Oh, how are we getting in? As I say, that is a properly eventful ride. Depending on how you ride this thing, if you ride it very calmly, very sophisticated, very, you know, properly, it responds by being calm and softer and smoother and relaxed and very sort of elegant in ways. Yeah, I know, elegant. I mean it, it feels that way, but if you start romping on it a little bit, the engine starts, you know, vibrating, it's a proper blast. And as I say, you don't get off this thinking, was I just riding a bike? You are 100% riding a bike. So yeah, there you go. There is my review of the R18, thanks to Bahnstormer down here. I'll have a look inside actually, because last time I came here, this was the kitchen area. And then the workshop was through here. But look what they've got now. Got this whole new area. Oh, here you go. This is quite handy. Here you go. This is the pillion seat version, and you've got the luggage on this one as well. Oh, and also the screen. Big old screen. Obviously the one I've got's the more sort of, I wouldn't say it was a bobber, but it's getting closer to being the sort of the bobbered version. Oh, I wonder what that bracket for was. For a steering damper. Well, appears to be a steering damper anyway. And I've got these bikes up here. But yeah, thanks to Bahnstormer BMW. I'm very happy to be back here doing some reviews. It was only down to me basically being so busy and not getting around to getting on some BMW. So there will be more to come. If you have any requests, let me know. But I will let you know now that the ones I'm planning on getting hold of, things like the F900. Also interested in that, was it called the CEO4 or C4. It's basically an electric scooter they do. It looks insane. Yeah. Thank you very much to Bahnstormer. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.